What are your highlights from the FA Cup third round draw?
Well, I suppose from a personal interest point of view, a nasty shock for West Ham fans to get Arsenal at home. I was a big London derby, but clubs like West Ham, I think, in the Premier League are looking these days, obviously first to try and stay in the league, but hopefully more than anything, the FA Cup is a big competition which we haven't won for a long time. We'd like to have a good run in. I think it's good for fans and obviously players, gives them a bit of confidence, helping their league results. But more than anything, it's a while since we've had a decent cup run. Obviously, everyone remembers the loss against Liverpool in the last minute or so. That went into extra time. That was 2006, I think. Now about 3 years. So it's always important to try and get a decent run. So I thought that was a tough draw. Certainly, the one or two games. If you looked at the draws, certainly the first one out, I was fun enough at the game Kettering against Leeds, and watching the game with Mark Cooper. It was because took over at Peterborough, and so I was in the boardroom when I was waiting as the draw started, and the first ones out was Spurs against Peterborough, and so they all laughed at him because not the easiest of matches for him. Although of course he's got trying to pick up some points as well as he's towards the bottom. But again, more than anything, as we mentioned earlier, I think if you get a good performance in the cup and start to get confidence going, that can spin off. And so going to Spurs will be tough, but that was an attractive draw for them. There were one or two giant killing potentials, I suppose. Certainly the last one out, as I was mentioned, the fact I was at Kettering, was Kettering Leeds away to Manchester United, which was a good payday for one of them. But obviously, in days gone by, Leeds United even, Manchester United were a massive rivalry, so that would be a big game. And from Kettering's point of view, because it would just be a massive experience they'll never forget.
You obviously won a couple of FA Cup finals, scored in one. So how do those memories compare to your other career achievements?
Well, it's an interesting debate these days because, to be honest, the FA Cup in my day was, and hopefully still is, massive, but it was just one of those games everyone in the country watched, really. I mean, whether you're aunt so-and-so or granddad, or you sat down to watch the cup final. It used to be the big build-up towards it. You watched all the preparation, and then eventually the game happened. So it was a massive occasion, obviously shown worldwide, and for me to end up playing two cup finals, 75 and 80, and win them both, and then everyone remembers the header against Arsenal. But more than anything, at the time you're excited and you enjoy it, but you probably don't realise the implications of it. And we are nearly 30 years later, and there isn't a week goes by where somebody doesn't remind me of the header. So because it wasn't the fact I wasn't renowned for my heading, so that was a bit of a shock to get the goal. And also, of course, it happened in an FA Cup final is something special. Probably all the Arsenal cabbies are getting their London taxis. They still reckon it's the only header I ever scored from, but that's how unlucky they think they were. But more than anything, it's just been a massive talking point for all the people you've never met in your life coming up to you and talking about it. So any player who's lucky enough to have something like that will tell you of the importance that it's been for the rest of their life, and you can't underestimate how significant that was for me. The opportunity for a football league team to play a Premiership side is a special one, and if they have the ultimate of upsetting the apple cart and getting the win, there's no doubt it's a special occasion, and players will keep that DVD or video, whatever, for the rest of their lives, because it's something that everyone will talk about.
Finally then, looking ahead to May, who's your money on to win the Cup?
Well, the Cup, I mean, we all say, unexpected, and there have been debates about once or twice, the teams people put out at key times of the season. Yeah, when it comes to the nitty-gritty, if you look at the recent last decade, so the big clubs have come there in force when it really matters, and probably the only occasion where it was different was was Portsmouth winning a couple of years ago, where I think we had 3 championship sides plus Portsmouth in the semi-final, which was unheard of almost. So everyone thought at that stage, oh, that's not so good for the FA Cup. I thought it was fantastic because there were some great matches. I mean, Barnsley, more than anyone that year, I think it was Chelsea and Liverpool they knocked out. I mean, it was just fantastic to see. And I was probably a little bit disappointed they didn't get to the final, because they were the story for a while, and it'd be nice for them to have got the final. But for me, that is really what the FA Cup is all about. So as I'm sitting here, I'd like to think that somebody from outside the Premier League might again get to the final. If that was the case, you'll look for somebody who. I'm trying to think who's near the top. I mean, West Brom actually, I think, have got a tough game at Huddersfield. Obviously, they're in the top 2 at the moment, but they're playing well and scoring goals. As are Newcastle, who've got to go to Plymouth. But I'd like a Championship side or a Football League side to get there. I mean, Leeds United, though, got to knock out Kettering and go to Man United. That's probably asking a lot, but they're doing very well in their league, so they've got confidence. Sometimes when you're doing well in your particular league, even if it's in the lower division, confidence prevails, and you go out and you can beat sides that normally you wouldn't. So in the Premier League, I'm probably looking at somebody who's not a top 5. I mean, I don't want to go for the obvious ones, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool obviously have got an interest this year, and Arsenal. I tend to focus probably on that next tier. I mean, Spurs are always a good cup team, and I'm not sure they'll be able to just hang in there this season, but they've got a wealth and a depth of talent, and I know Harry's always very keen on the FA Cup. So if you're looking at a Premier League team, obviously I wouldn't include my own side, West Ham, especially not they've just drawn Arsenal, but no, I'll try and show impartiality. So I'll go for Spurs as my Premier League finalist, and then if I'm looking for one for the Championship, I'll risk West Brom, but I'm just a bit concerned if they don't prioritise in trying to get promotion. And I think Huddersfield is a tough game for them in the 3rd round, because they're doing really well in the league.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Trevor.
Cheers, pleasure.